Hi, this is Tom, and today is Lesson 17, Relative Frequency and Percentages. What we're going to do today is we're going to start in the way similar to what we've started many times before. Let's begin by making a dot plot of the data set before us. So we're going to make a dot plot. From that we'll make a histogram. From that we'll make a frequency distribution, and then we can begin to look at the underlying issues for today. So I'm going to start out with my dot plot. Actually, that's probably way too long. Let's make this a little narrower here. There's my lowest value here is 1, so we'll start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There. And then I'm going to put my line through these. That looks pretty horizontal. So let's begin. I'll label my number line 2 as well. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I would encourage you to pause for a moment and make the dot plot yourself, and then we'll match up ours and see if they meet. And so I'm going to make my dot plot. I have this lighter gray here for my dot. So this way I can keep track. There's my 3. Oh, it's barely lighter. 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 9, 2, 6, 5, 3. There's my first row. My next row is 5, 8, 9, 5, 8, 9, 7, 9. Whoops, my dots look at these couple dots. Just could be a little bit better. Let's put those back. There we go. 3, 2, 3, 8, and 4. There we go. And let's do this. Let's do, how about a class width of 2? So use a class width. Use a class width of 2. So we can just look at it and know exactly what we need to do. And so we'll proceed in that manner here. Notice I should probably extend my line out a little bit this way. And I should probably put my 0 down here. There. And then let's go back to our color that we were using, which I'm not quite sure which one it was anymore. And notice now that what we're going to have is we're going to have bins. We're going to have bins, and we start right below our lowest value. We don't go down to the next whole number. Instead, we split the difference. So that's going to put us here at 0.5. And so if I put my dividers in at every 2, every half, so I go 1, 2. Here's my next divider. I go to 1, 2. So my next divider goes between 4 and 5. My next divider then is going to go between 6 and 7. My next divider is going to go between, looks like 8 and 9. And then notice I'm going to need to extend this out just so that my last one is also of width 2. So here's a 10. And I could even take this out again to an 11. And my next divider is going to go between the 10 and the 11. So now I have everything I need, and I can use this to make my histogram to represent my data. So let's do this. Let's do that. So here we go. I'm going to start out the same way. Notice that now that my lowest value is, I don't have to go all the way to 10. Instead, let's just think halves. So my first one is going to be 0.5. Here's 2.5, 4.5, 6.5, 8.5, 10.5. Because the histogram has the effect now of condensing down our data. And then let's go here. We'll make it a... that looks pretty good. So now let's snap these into place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 6. And remember, this is our frequency. And on the horizontal, these are our class boundaries, or you could just write boundaries if you would prefer. Okay, and let's label these. We have 0.5, 2.5, 4.5, 6.5, 8.5, 10.5. And now, if we look at our first group up here, we have a frequency of 4. So when we make, that was a wiggly fork, sorry about that. So remember, when we make our histogram, what we do then is we just go straight up to a frequency of 4. So our bar has a height here of 4, and we don't put the dots in. So we have this, that, and we can connect it this way. And there's our first bar of the histogram. Our next one, it looks like we have 4. It looks like we have 6, frequency of 6 here. Again, a wiggly 6. Looks like we have 6. So I'm going to bring this, and these dotted lines, you don't have to do this. I just do them to help me draw straight lines. So let's go up here to 6, and up here to 6. And then we'll connect it. Hopefully we connect it better than I did. So we'll connect it like that. There. And I guess I could connect that. Our next group, we have 4. So this one's going to be at the same height of the 4s. So let's come up here and across. And then our next group looks like we have 3. So we'll have a height here of 3. Go up and across. And then our last one is also of height 3, or frequency of 3. So let's draw that. Let's draw that better. And bring it across. Just do it this way. There. Now, there's our frequency distribution. Now, I'm sorry, there's our histogram. But over here, let's make a frequency distribution next to this. Or I'll bring it down a bit so I have some space to work with. If I make a frequency distribution, remember we're going to have boundaries. And we'll have frequency. So we'll do that. And we're going to put one more thing on. We're going to put percentages, or which are also have been called relative frequencies. So let's just start with the easier parts. We know it. We'll just copy our boundaries down right from the histogram. At 0.5 to 2.5, we have 2.5 to 4.5, 4.5 to 6.5, 6.5 to 8.5, and finally our last class is 8.5 to 10.5. And we have frequencies of 4, 6, 4, 3, and 3. And notice here, if I was to add these up, well, 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 4 more is 14. Oh, plus another 6, my total frequency is 20. Now, what I want is, let's go back up. When I talk about the percentage, for example, in this first group, my 4 dots, these are 4 dots out of 20 dots total. So what percentage of the total dots do these 4 make up? And the question is found by, you take 4 divided by the 20, you multiply it by 100%. And 4 divided by 20 is, actually that's going to be 20% of the data. For 6, a frequency of 6, you'll take 6, you'll divide it by 20, you'll multiply it by 100%. So we can say those 6 dots found in our second bin or bar or second bar of the histogram account for 30% of our dots. And we already did 4, we know that that's 20%. And 3, well, we would take 3, we would divide that by 20, we'd multiply that result by 100%, so that would be 15%. So those 3 dots represent 15% of our data, as well as do the next 3 dots found in the last bar of the histogram or the last bin of our dot plot. Now, at this point, what we want to do is take a look at what we can do with this data. So there's quite a few things. The first one is this. If I was to ask, I'm going to grab my picture here. I'm going to need my picture here. Copy. Just going to put it back. Copy that. And then let's bring that down here. I'm going to need this picture as well. I'm going to put my histogram, put it about there, and let's go back up here. Let's bring this information down as well. We're going to make it a little bit smaller. So put it down here. I'm going to shrink it, put it right there, and we'll have a fresh place to start. And in our next video, we're going to take a look at what happens when we start shading bars of the histogram and what does that represent. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.